Hello all. A big theme on this channel, as well as in the online right in general, is the notion that the liberal regime is starting to buckle at the moment. Multiculturalism is clearly not working. It threatens our whole way of life, as does mass immigration. And many of us have known this for a very long time. But even the liberal mainstream is waking up and saying you can't just keep piling people in to a nation, treating everybody like some soulless economic unit, and expect everything to be like Love Actually. Now, Love Actually is quite a good segue here because it represents the apex of the Blairite vision, the happy, smiling, California-ized Londoners, eternally liberal and sweet, free of the chains of tradition and tribe. One character who looks like he'd fit into Love Actually is veteran journalist Andrew Marr. You can almost picture him telling the girl boss at the media office to, hey, take the night off and go and get the guy of your dreams, and remember, this is what we do at Christmas. Now, I don't hate Andrew Marr at all. In many ways I respect him, but the reality is he's part of a liberal boomer worldview that is just obsolete in this day and age. And this was really summed up by his recent comments on Russia and how we have to defend ourselves.
It seems mad. But of course it's not mad, because today's Defence Review is about one thing and one thing only: credibility. We need to be able to persuade potential enemies, the Russians in particular, that we are too dangerous to attack. Now, that is probably not the case today, but perhaps within a few years it will be.
What is he talking about? The reason why no rogue nations attack Britain and other European nations is because of A, NATO, and B, the real reason, American muscle.
I have got nothing against the Russians as a people. They are brave, cultured, and hardy.
Sounds a bit like an ethnic stereotype there, Andrew. You best be careful. You're stepping way out of the boundaries of the liberal orthodoxy.
But domination by the Kremlin dictatorship would destroy everything that is valuable in this country. We couldn't speak or hear freely. The brave would be imprisoned and the rest of us would live in perpetual fear.
Is he actually saying that he thinks the Russians are going to attack us? I mean, this has to be peak liberal delusion. I mean, first of all, Russia's just been bogged down by a brutal war on their border. I very much doubt after that they're going to try and plough their way through Europe to get to Britain. Not to mention, if Putin attacked Britain or any NATO-aligned country, it's suicide. The whole of NATO would be against him. That's all of Europe, all of the Anglosphere, and most vitally America. Look, I'm all for a strong military, one reason for that being that we can foster our strongest warriors and they can protect our borders. Now, I don't know if Andrew has noticed at the moment, but our borders are completely porous and the indigenous people are being progressively replaced. But of course Andrew hasn't noticed any of this because Andrew is still living in Love Actually. He's completely out of step with the country itself, which allows him to say stupid things such as this.
We couldn't speak or hear freely. The brave would be imprisoned and the rest of us would live in perpetual fear.
Yeah, we're already there, Andrew. You may have heard of the Starminator. He's not frightened to throw people in jail for multiple years for an edgy tweet.
For my money, and it is my money just like it's your money, I'm prepared to spend more on weird, scary things I hope turn out to be useless in order to keep that possibility away from my children.
Yeah, again, the big threat to your children is not Vladimir Putin. It's that our homeland has been turned into what Keir Starmer himself terms an island of strangers, where many of our new arrivals are completely hostile to the host culture as well as the host people. Speaking as a father myself, this is what I consider when I think about the future for my children, but Andrew Marr and the rest of the liberal elite types don't think like this because they are in Love Actually land, where everything is saccharine and sweet and the liberal utopia is bubbling away. I have a sneaky suspicion that Marr and the rest of the liberal types are willing to make investments in defence such as this, not so much to defend our country, but because they see it as a way to defend their worldview. It protects the borders of psychological rather than physical space. But it does seem to me that the liberal worldview, and Love Actually with it, has had its day. It's already on borrowed time and a dark new world is ready to descend upon us. But in that time, there will be an opportunity to get back to sanity and sense. These are just my views. Do let me know what you think down below, and do consider subscribing to the channel if you're new.